Welcome to week 7. From reading your pastor interviews, I find that you have had a good time and trust that not only is something for this week, but it continues to give you opportunity to build relationship with your pastor and better know him and how or her and how to pray for them and their families. Ministry is hard, and so I just want to encourage you to be a cheerleader for your pastor and reaffirm his commitment to Christ, even if there are some things that you think he ought to do that he doesn't, and maybe vice versa. We have an article to read this week on a decade of change for churches. Unfortunately, it's a little dated. It's 2010, but I think you will find the principles in it very helpful and a very nice video that is good. The big project of the week is the congregational interview. I know you can all read, but I want to read it to you so that you also hear it. Assignment 7, congregational interview. The group shall consist of 4 to 7 people that represent a cross-section of the congregation. That means it needs to be some men, it needs to be some women, it needs to be some newer members, some older members, it needs to be people of many different settings. The interview should last at least 60 minutes. The paper summarizing the interview shall be in MLA formatting and 4 to 7 pages in length, but obviously no works cited page. Each question shall be written bold and underlined that will serve as a section header. Provide answers to each question individually. The paper shall have a brief introduction describing the setting for the interview, the length of the interview, the composition of the interviewees. Following the questions, provide a conclusion that consists of insights and lessons that you gained from the interviewees. It's preferable that you have precise quotes from at least 5 questions. Now, these questions are very similar to those you ask your pastor, but questions 3, 4, and 5 are different. I will include with the announcement a paper that I have put together on small group dynamics that I think you will find helpful. Just if you don't have much experience, this will be helpful. I find it helpful just to go back and read it. Oftentimes in a small group, my wife will give me some coaching after it's all over. Did you know that Mary sat there almost all evening and didn't say anything? You needed to ask her a question. And so that's what some of this is. I also added 3 notes to those directions. Grading will take into consideration whether or not there were minimally 4 people gathered for a group interview and whether they represent a demographic cross-section of your congregation. The second one, as a courtesy, consider giving the questions to the participants ahead of the interview. And 3, the paper that I just referred to. Some group dynamics ideas will be provided so that one talkative, domineering person does not control input. I've been working with small groups for years, and I have encountered more than one person who has the right answer. And that person already has established, probably in the congregation, that if I say this, you don't argue with me. Because if you do, I'll put you in your place. And so that's part of what these group dynamics are about. God bless you in this week. Wow, week 7. Can you imagine that? And I am looking forward to those long papers that you have for week 8 to write for me that summarizes the whole course, from the reading and the interviews and the videos and the discussion boards. You have a wealth to write on, and I am looking forward with eagerness to get to read how God has used this class in your life and what you have learned. God bless you in this great week.